Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Black History Month program. My name is Fayemi Shakur. I'm the Arts and Cultural Affairs Director for the City of Newark. And tonight we have a brief virtual program that will be followed by a workshop happening here at City Hall downstairs. I wanted to open our program briefly, just sharing a little bit from a book I'm reading again. It's called All About Love by Bell Hooks. And here are her reflections on love and community. She says, community cannot take root in a divided life. Long before community assumes external shape and form, it must be present as a seed in the individual self. Only as we are in communion with ourselves can we find community with others. I just want to share a little bit more about that. She says, there is no better place to learn the art of loving than community. I've been thinking a lot about community and Black love as it relates to Black History Month. In and through community lies salvation of the world. Community can be defined as the coming together of a group of individuals who have learned how to communicate honestly with each other, whose relationships go deeper than the masks of their composure, and who have developed some significant commitment to rejoice together, mourn together, to delight in each other, and make others' conditions their own. We are all born into the world of community. With that, I'd like to bring up our Mayor Baraka for his reflections on Black History Month and to share a very special proclamation with you tonight. Mayor Baraka.
Good evening. Exciting day. I'd like to thank Fayemi for organizing and putting this together. This is our opportunity to celebrate Harriet Tubman. And before we go into that and before I give the proclamation, I just want to talk a little bit about why Black History Month is incredibly important. Obviously, Black History Month for us is every day. And history is not a thing of the past. History is something that's moving and functioning every single moment that we have. So every day to us is history. And as long as we are Black, we're going to be celebrating Black history, right? So every moment that we make. And Carter G. Woodson, who is the actual noted as the founder of Negro History Week, that later became Black History Month, said, if you can control a man's thinking, you don't have to worry about his actions. If you can, and later on in the quote it says, if you can make a man justly believe that he's an outcast, you don't have to order him to the back door. He will find the back door on his own. And if there is no back door, he will create one. And that's the part of it that resonates with me so much, that, our miseducation has been so calculated and so systemic that we don't have to be ordered to take an inferior role. We seek one ourselves, and if there is no inferior one, we might create it on our own, which is why it's incredibly important for us to celebrate Black History Month, to uplift everything that has happened in this country and the world, that we've gifted to the world, that we've gifted to this country with our sweat, with our labor, with our lives. Since we've been here, we're the only people who have come here against our will. We didn't come here looking for streets that were paved with gold. We didn't come here looking for running from religious persecution. We didn't come here looking to set up a new life. We came here because we were forced here. And since our presence here, this country has been changed indefinitely and permanently because of our presence in this place. We are uplifting and raising a Harriet Tubman monument in our city. We didn't just decide to take the Columbus statue down, we also decided to put something in its place. And while many people argue about what should not be present and what we should tear down, we always want to go a step further because we want to see the world in a new place. We just don't want to tear the old world down. We want to be about building something new and something beautiful that represents us, that we can be a part of, that we can create and celebrate. And we think Harriet Tubman is that. I mean, Harriet Tubman stepped foot in this place, you know. The Underground Railroad was very, very active in the city of Newark, since New Jersey was one of the last states to abolish slavery in the Union. You know, activism in Newark was very high, and abolitionist work was very, very important in Newark. So I want to give this proclamation. I don't want to hold you too long. You got more important people to hear from today than me. And there's an incredible workshop that's going to take place downstairs after this as well, right? By the artists. And if you have not signed up, you probably should. And so this says, whereas Harriet Tubman was born Arminita Ross in March 1822. She was born into slavery on a large plantation in Dorchester County, Maryland, and became a revered political activist and leader of the abolitionist movement. Now I'm going to go on. And whereas Harriet Tubman was one of America's great heroines, she died in Auburn, New York on March 10th, 1913, and repeatedly risked her life to help enslaved people escape their torment and lead them to freedom. She also fought for women's rights and has become a role model and exemplar for our entire nation. Harriet Tubman Day was established on March 10th, 1990, and designated as a federal holiday to be observed by the people. You know, I need my glasses. The people of the United States, which appropriate ceremonies and activities. The 10th day of March will also be declared a citywide holiday from this day forward and every year onward. And as mayor of Newark, I salute Harriet Tubman for her valor as we celebrate Black History Month, honor her with a monument and park to her name, and urge Newark residents to learn about her achievements and emulate her profound courage and spirit. Now, therefore, I, Raz J. Baraka, Mayor of the City of Newark, do hereby declare March 10th, 2022 as Harriet Tubman Day. That's major. That's major. So what this means is from now on, our children, our children's children can recognize March 10th forever in the city of Newark as Harriet Tubman Day, and we can get our school system to celebrate, read, study, commemorate, and learn about the great works of Harriet Tubman and all the abolitionists here in New Jersey and in the country that helped freedom become a reality for millions of people in this place. God bless you and Godspeed.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It is major. And here to receive this proclamation is the Executive Director, Jocelyn Dixon, from the Newark Library, who will place this proclamation in the library's special collections to archive. And she's going to share her remarks as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fayemi and Mayor, for inviting us to celebrate and join in the celebration of Black History Month with the City of Newark. I'm going to keep it very brief. Fayemi and the Mayor are a hard act to follow, so I will try to flow as well. So I would say, just on a personal note, as a Black woman and the leader of Newark Public Library, like Harriet, when it comes to access and information, we never leave anybody behind. We always keep people on track. And if we can't find a way, we definitely try to make one. And so in the spirit of Harriet is how we operate every day. And we are proud to serve, I am proud to serve a community that looks like me, especially in this field of librarianship, which is largely made of people who don't look like me. And so like Harriet, we trailblaze every day. I'm looking forward to celebrating the proclamation. We have a reception coming up in March, right on time for Women's History Month is the next one, so I'm looking at Miami. So we are looking forward to hosting the community and celebrating what Washington Park will become in honoring Harriet Tubman. And on that note, I also, I'm going to cede some of my time to Dale Colson. She is the supervisory librarian of the James Brown African American Room, so she can share some of our programs that we have for Black History Month. Dale, I'm going to turn it over to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Jocelyn. My name is Dale Colson. I'm the supervising librarian of the James Brown African American Room. At the library, we are intentional in celebrating the lives of our ancestors. We are excited to welcome friends and patrons of all ages to come and read and learn about Harriet Tubman. So stay tuned for upcoming program, an annual program that we'll have about Harriet Tubman. Please join us for our next 2 Black History Celebration programs. Tomorrow, we welcome city historian Junius Williams, as he and Edward Jerry Pennick and Karen Washington talk about black farmers. Back in 1920, there were about 1 million black farmers. Today, maybe about 45,000. So why is that? We're going to examine that. So that's tomorrow on Zoom. And you can visit us at npl.org for more information. We stream on Zoom and Facebook Live. And then next Thursday, we are celebrating another woman who is absolutely a freedom fighter, Sister Erica Huggins, formerly of the Black Panther Party. Black Panther Party. And also with her, Dr. Zain Abdullah, and they will talk about the Black Panther Party's free breakfast program and the Nation of Islam's influence on eating and lifestyle. So that's next Thursday, also on Zoom at 6 o'clock. Tune in on Facebook Live and Zoom. And thank you for your support of the Newark Public Library, and thank you for supporting the work that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. I want to bring up the artist who was commissioned to design the Harriet Tubman Monument. Some of you hadn't had a chance to meet her yet. She is providing workshops, not just this evening, but through spring. So if you're interested in signing up for those workshops, you should reach out to my office. There's an Eventbrite link on our Facebook page with more information. Nina Cook-John, would you like to share your remarks with us? So happy to introduce you to the city.
Thank you, Fahmi, and thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to be here as part of this celebration today. And my name is Nina Cook-John, and I'm the artist whose design has been selected to create the Harriet Tubman Monument in what will be Tubman Park. In reflecting on Harriet Tubman, really in doing my own research as I was coming up with a design for the monument, what really struck me, in addition to her amazing courage, was really this idea of community. So I'm glad that Fahmi actually brought up the idea of community in the beginning of the opening here. Because Harriet Tubman made it to freedom without her family. And once she made it across that line, she really realized that that freedom was really not sweet at all without the rest of her family and the rest of her community. And that really was the primary impetus for her to keep going back into danger, to really keep bringing not only other members of her family, but the larger community to freedom. And really is that idea of freedom, the network of the Underground Railroad, the network that was strengthened at the community spaces where slaves were allowed to go, whether it was the revival churches, the revival meetings in the woods, or the marketplaces, or the races. In these community places is where they shared the secrets of the networks and the codes, really the network that allowed the Underground Railroad to be successful. So really what we're hoping for the monument once it is completed is not only to celebrate the legacy of Harriet Tubman, the person, but Harriet Tubman, the promoter of community, Harriet Tubman, the promoter of the Underground Underground Railroad and its wide network, and really ultimately promoting the community and strengthening the community of Newark in that public space. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. And finally, I'm so happy to bring up my dear friend, beloved by our city, author of Black Girl Call Home, Jasmine Mans, for a selection of poetry.
What a pleasure it is to be here. Oh, hi, Aunt Adrian. How are you guys doing today? It is a pleasure to be a poet in this city, and that has historic reference within itself. The likes of myself, Jasmine Mans, grew up learning the works of Amir Baraka, grew up listening to Raz Baraka and Sonia Sanchez, and then knowing, like, as a 30-year-old woman, that I can raise children in this city that will see monuments of Harriet Tubman, George Floyd, Ken Gibson, is an ever-changing thing, and it brings a sense of pride to us. And I'm ever grateful for your work, Fayemi, and the work that all you, you artists and activists are doing here in this city. I chose 3 poems from my book that I wanted to share with you. Birmingham. Mama said the bomb wasn't meant for me. I think it was meant for Pastor Martin because he be having them dreams. Maybe those white men didn't know that little black girls we be going to church too, and we be folding our hands praying, and we be taking communion just like their daughters do. Maybe if I wore my church shoes, the bad men would have never came for me. I knew they matched my dress, but they always just be hurting my feet. I'll be thinking, did God christen the bombs that exploded my flesh into sacrifice? And do anybody be hearing those sacrificial scriptures spoken in tongues, claiming Christ before everything went boom? Before the smoke and rubble baptized these collapsing bones? Maybe if they knew that we were like the most beautiful flowers, right before the wind and the dirt began playing tug of war with the delicates of our petals, Mama said, it only took one man to die for the sins of this entire world. So how did that man let this church tremble on my soul? And I don't remember there being enough holy water to stop the smoke or to calm the burning. Mama said some heartbreaks just be too hard to swallow at communion, that some serpents be finding salvation in baptismal pools, that some church mice be screaming America's dirty little secrets. Mama said some deaths just be too black and too white to be labeled holy, that some sacrifice comes without permission, that some sacrifice comes without fair warning, that God can't always protect you from the boogeyman, so some baby girls will reach the pearly gates and won't be tall enough to turn the handles. Mama said some men will just be too guilty to ever claim innocence with Christ. But what did I do? I never wanted to play with the white girls. I never asked for integration. I wanted roller skates, an extra piece of cake after dinner time. Sometimes I just be thinking, maybe God was too busy trying to protect Martin to think about us. I ain't ever asked for that man's dream, but Mama just keeps saying that his dream just been asking for me. My fairy godmother left today, took up her wings and fluttered away, heard the Holy Ghost hummed a note that rang in her soul, made us believe that there was really something special about a Christmas Eve right in the middle of the ghetto. There may not be anything under this tree, no gifts from 3 kings, but boy, can that girl sing, holding notes as strong as wooden Baptist church pews, with back pockets holding the Bibles and sins of some men who would scurry away but find an early Sunday morning to come back for them, chasing a sound that could turn a pumpkin into a chariot, made us believe that Cinderella could be a brown girl with a chance at forever if she had a little faith and some measuring tape, a little glitter and a whisper that could grant you one last wish or a last kiss. God placed you in the dreams of every brown girl with a fairy tale in her heart and a prayer stumbling up the stairs of her throat with no proof that anyone could ever hear it. When we applauded your name, could you hear it? When you were drowning, could anybody hear it? Why'd you have to be the one to remind us that the clock strikes 12, that we just died too soon, that some girls will really end up naked in their bathrooms, that the curtains can close on a high note, that you can find heaven and a quick fix on the same street and the bricks, leaving you with regrets that would run your throat dry, that would make you take some secrets to the grave, yet can make a flower blossom right up out of concrete. Newark then folded her baby back into its soil, placed you between her palms in a psalm, a black girl with faith as blind as the wind, yet as real as its whisper, forcing us all to believe that Cinderella belongs to this city too. I got one more poem for you folks. I believe 2 years ago, our Mayor Raz Baraka asked me to create a poem. And I sat with myself and I thought, how could I be of celebration of this city? That there are so many narratives about Newark that we can find, but how can I build a celebration? And when we think about the works and the theory of Amir Baraka, he talks about that art is supposed to be truth and beauty wrapped together. And so when I took that and I said, well, what is truth and what is beauty? I wrote this, and I hope it makes you smile. Gloria Brown lives on South 14th Street in the South Ward. She served as a lunch lady at George Washington Carver Elementary School before she retired. At 12 p.m. every day, she gave Calvin Chambers an extra milk because that's my little brother's best friend and our next door neighbor. She feeds Calvin until he is old enough to go to high school. His older brother, Al Tariq, died somewhere in a high-speed police chase. His funeral was held at Cotton. Bergen Street stands like an old man who was an artist back in the day but has since painted his kidneys a whiskey color. Round here, you don't need to be Muslim to say Assalamu alaikum, because when you walk into King's Restaurant, you'll find a 5'11" black woman who will ask you for your God and your order, and she don't care if you've made up your mind. You have 10 seconds to respond. Assalamu alaikum, my sister. I'll go with catfish, cheese eggs, cheese grits, wheat toast with butter and jelly, and an uptown, please. I come from a city that always had enough home to come home to. A city that sometimes only responds to its Muslim name. A city that rolls its eyes and holds its babies tight on the 27 bus because it's going to be 4 more months before mama gets a new car, so back door bus driver, back door, we got places to go. The Source of Knowledge bookstore be the only black bookstore downtown, and they'll tell you about Broad Street before all them white folks got here. It's summer 2022, and all of Benet and Tyrone's 3 black kids graduated from college. They keep their degrees in the china cabinet, and when they cook, they wear one of those "my baby went to a good school" t-shirt. There's a mother in the West Ward praying her child through college, and sometimes she'll sing it, and other times she'll scream it, but that prayer is going to last her all of the days of her life. And the water ain't clean here, but Auntie Joyce is, and she's been clean for a minute now, got an apartment, and sees her grandbabies every weekend. And the Leslie Street Block Association, they still have block parties. They be a group of old black folks who never got too scared of their grandbabies to celebrate them or to pray for them. So Miss Shorter gonna have a cookout, Uncle Charlie gonna have a cookout, Keisha gonna have a cookout, and you ain't gonna worry about the roaches because mama said everybody gonna stay in that room and she don't wanna hear nobody breathe, lift a finger, or move a muscle until she says so. And the street gonna be blocked off, and the city is gonna sing, and Nana gonna listen to trap music because all her grandbabies are in the same backyard at the same time. And when the electric slide come on, the people are gonna dance, and Daddy's gonna show up, and he's gonna bring you your new bike, and he's gonna promise to never leave. And Nana made potato salad, y'all. She mixed it with her whole arm. So you better stop by here now. You better stop by here and come get you a plate. Newark, it is an honor, and Fayemi, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. I love all of those poems so much. The second one, I hope you recognized, was in memory of Whitney Houston. That's Whitney's poem, right? And the third poem is indeed a celebration. Thank you, Jasmine. We're going to close our program and head downstairs for our tile-making workshop with Nina Cook-John. I invite all of you in attendance to take a peek at what's going on. I invite you at home to tune in to the public library for future Black History Month programs. Also this week happening at Rutgers Newark, Express Newark in particular, is the Black Portraitures Conference, which I encourage you to check that out as well. And on February 25th, the Newark Museum of Art will be screening Why Is We Americans, a very important film about the Baraka family, their legacy and contributions to this city. Thank you again all. Happy Black History Month.
There are going to be community engagement workshops where people are making tiles, and the tiles that they make, that they leave their own symbols of their own liberation stories, those tiles will become a part of the monument. They will become a large mosaic on the back wall that people can visit and actually see the current stories of liberation of people who live in Newark today. So people should look out for any notices they see of workshops coming up in their neighborhood, because we want to go across all the different wards of the city so we can come to people in their own neighborhoods so that no one feels that they don't have an opportunity to be a part of this monument. And then once it's installed, they can go and see that they're part of this larger community. Their stories are Newark stories, and their stories are intertwined with Harriet Tubman's story.
And what would you like for faith and humanity? Faith, humanity, and my mom.
I am pleased at my creativity. I had no idea I would be able to do this.
Hey everybody, so my name is Tiffany. I actually work for the Department of Recreation, Culture Affairs and Senior Services, and I'm participating in this program today, making tiles for our Harriet Tubman Monument. I'm going to be a part of history. Andrea, my friend here, convinced me to come down and make some tile and be a part of the new monument that is going to actually be in Washington Park. I'm really feeling liberated and free, and I just want to express that on my tile so that when other people see it, they can feel it, they can actually feel free, they can feel why I feel free.